It's 8:28 on a Thursday morning here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. Well, midway through the 8 o'clock hour every Thursday, we talk to a great friend of the show, Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins. It's been a few weeks, and now she's back. Spring break trip is over. The Wolverines go 4-4 and have 3 games rained out, and joining us now to reflect upon that and also to look ahead is Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins. Coach, good morning.
Well, Sam, I left you for 2 weeks, and you have not done anything about this weather. So we're going to need to talk about that.
Coach, we had it pretty solid for one day, 2 days ago.
Well, one day is better than no day. I have to say that. It gives us hope that there's going to be some melting coming, but it needs to come quicker than one day a month.
Yeah, I hear you, Coach. It is certainly the snow won't let up, and neither will the cold. But that wasn't your problem out in the Golden State. It was the rain. 3 games rained out while you were out there.
You know, it's the beginning of our spring break trip. It's a 9-day trip, and we started in Long Beach to play in the Long Beach, Invitational. And they hadn't had rain in 2 years. And Friday morning, it was just a monsoon, really, for the better part of 3 days. And we managed somehow to get 1 game in that weekend down in Long Beach. But there's nothing harder than playing a 5-game weekend than going to the trip and not playing the game. That's a long weekend. It's tough, and we couldn't even get outside to have practice or batting practice because all the fields in the area were just ruined.
Right, and that makes it tough.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, it makes it tough when you go to face the number 4 team in the country, UCLA. So let's jump up to that. The first game, you lose that one 4-1 in 8 innings, but then you bounce back the next day and win 9-4. And Sierra Romero, wow, what a huge performance. But let's start off first with the first game coming off, as you said, that very long weekend where you couldn't get outside to practice.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love most about our spring break trip. We're outside, and we get out a couple practices in and a lot of great warm-ups, and we get out in fields and have live batting practice. And that Sunday we went to a indoor batting cage and, just got done what we could. But we added a makeup game to get in a game on the trip with UCLA and drove up to Westwood on that Tuesday as we were getting ready to move to Fullerton for that tournament on the weekend, and we already had the scheduled game Wednesday. And we started Megan Betts, our freshman. That's a big start. I mean, UCLA is undefeated at the time, and their team batting average was well over 350. I mean, this is a very solid team. And their starting pitcher, Jessica Hall, had a 0.00 ERA when we showed up. So it was a daunting task, and we played with them neck and neck the entire game. It was a 1-1 game we went into the 8th inning, and unfortunately in their home half of the inning, we had an error in the outfield, then we had a wild pitch and a walk, and then they hit a bomb. We threw it down the middle, and they put it in somewhere into Bel Air, across the highway there. So, but we played well, and I thought we really showed up to play. I was pleased with Megan for the most part. She just needed to finish the game and treat the 8th inning no differently than she had treated the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and so forth. But we came back up the next night, and it was a Pac-12 network game. And they started off in the first inning. We started Haley Wagner, and she gave up a home run in the first inning and settled in really well. And we really we had seen both their pitchers the night before, and I thought we made some really great adjustments and hit their pitches, and we hit the ball well, and we played some fantastic defense. And Sierra Romero was on her Romo game, and she had a great night for us. And really, when Romo's got her swag, the rest of the team follows suit. So that was a great win for us.
Yeah, 3 for 3 with a home run, 5 RBIs in that 9-4 victory, broke or snapped the 17-game winning streak for the Bruins. Expectations, Coach, you've dealt with players that have had huge expectations after big seasons. But, man, when it's a freshman, they call it a sophomore slump for a reason, because you have all those expectations heaped upon you, and yet here she is, and looking at the stats right now, she's leading you guys in virtually every category, and is first or second, looks like in 8 offensive categories amongst Big Ten players. So the expectations haven't hindered her at all thus far.
Well, I guess the only thing I will say is that I'd like to see the rest of my team step it up a little bit. And we need more than Romo to be a consistent player for us. And Romo she's just been consistent. And there's one aspect of her game after her freshman year that needed to improve. It was her defense. And I can tell you that she had a rough trip. She had 4 errors on the trip, but she's been playing just a much more consistent, solid shortstop for us. And, it's tough to tell a kid who's had the kind of success she's had that you need to come back better, but she really has stepped up that part of her game. And Romo's really our veteran on the infield besides Lauren Sweet behind the plate. And that's a lot to ask of a young kid, but, and she's improving in that category every day. But we've got a ways to go with everybody, and I like what I see. I just don't see it every day.
Gotcha. So, Coach, you go, as you said, to Fullerton for the Judy Garman Classic. More top-notch opponents, Arizona State, number 10 in the country, Washington, number 6. You start that part of your trip off 0-3, but you wind up winning the last 2 games against Arizona and then Texas. Kind of take us through that run.
Well, again, after we went up to UCLA Tuesday, Wednesday night, and it was a big win Wednesday. And Thursday, we opened up with ASU, who has Dallas Escobedo is arguably the best pitcher in the country. And honestly, it's a game. We lose 2-0, and I just believe that we had a little bit we were a little flat around the edges, maybe got a little too high after the win. And I don't like to get too high when you win in March because, you don't want to get low when you lose. Mm-hmm. But we were pretty flat all day, and then Washington really took it to us. We had them almost 1-2-3 in the first inning. We were 1 strike away from being 1-2-3, and we gave up a 4 earned run inning. So we didn't pitch well that game, and Washington is just too good of a team to you can't miss a pitch. So that was a rough day. And then we turned around and had a good game against Houston, but we didn't play as well as we could. But I thought we were on the rebound, and I thought our attitude and our approach was good. But we lose a tough game against Houston. I think it was 5-4, and really a couple of errors were the difference. And then we turned around and had to face Arizona, which Arizona coming into that game, out of their first 21 games, had mercied 15 of their opponents.
Wow.
Their team batting average was off the charts. And, Haley Wagner was phenomenal. She threw a 3-0 shutout, and my team showed up for the task. And after you lose a game or lose a couple games, 3 in a row, that's a stretch. I thought our kids were fantastic. They found their moment. They stayed in their 1-pitch softball, and we got a favorable outcome. And then the last day was Texas, and even though we hadn't played as many games as usual on that trip, we were tired. I mean, that's 9 days of being on the road, and we really had to fight through everything to get through that game. And I put Haley Wagner back in the circle, and she gave up 1 run. She was fantastic. But if there's one area of our game that needs to improve, the good news is we're getting on base. Our on-base percentage is just under 500. But our left on base, our LOBs, we need to improve. We need to cut them in half. We are leaving a lot of runners on base. And it's just having quality at-bats when we need the timely hitting. We're just, we're a work in progress.
Work in progress, Coach. And you mentioned you got some players that are leading you right now. And if history is any indicator, the rest of your squad will follow suit. So you have Romo, on the positional player side, but Haley Wagner, who you just mentioned, she's 11-0, she's Big Ten player or pitcher of the week, beat UCLA, beat Arizona, a .88 ERA. I harken back to late last season, and I remember an interview with you where you talked about challenging her, and you talked about challenging her in the off season, and you look for responses. Looks like she's responding in resounding fashion right now.
Well, she didn't like last year. She did not like the results of her personal game last year, and I told her she's the only one that can do anything about it. And she really needed to work on her fitness and the health of her back, and she had to work on her core fitness. And she came back a lot stronger, and she came back a lot fitter. And honestly, with the addition of a third pitcher, there is an inherent competition among the pitching staff, and Haley thrives on competition. She's at her best when it's the most competitive situation, and she is clearly shown. she clearly is relishing the chance to compete, to be our ace, so to speak. And most importantly, we're really pleased because Haley's getting it done for us. But we need Sarah Driesinger and Megan Betza to just get back to throwing the way they're capable of. Neither of them are really throwing quite the way I think they're capable of, and they need to rise to that challenge as well. And it's our hope that they will, because we're going to need more than Haley to get through this season.
Gotcha. We're talking to Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTK.com. One interesting kind of switch or change up there along the way. Nicole Sappingfield moved her from ninth to the number 2 spot in the lineup a couple of times while you were out in California, and she responded for you.
She did. Goalie was having a rough go, and Abby Ramirez, really, she's been as consistent as any of the freshmen. Just her on-base percentage is fantastic. And I didn't look at that as a long-term move. You could consider that a motivational tactic, and I think it did. I think it woke her up a little bit, and since then she had a good Judy Garman for us. She woke up.
Gotcha. All right, so Coach, you mentioned that you hit the road for Louisville, your last road series or classic before you, at least we hope before you get the chance to play at home. And you take on Kent State, Louisville, and Iowa State. Kind of tell us about the teams that you're going to be matching up with here this weekend.
Well, I can tell you that we saw Kent State down in when we were down in Boca, and we saw them a couple times. And the second game we won 1-0 in extra innings. Their pitcher is as good as any pitcher we've seen this year. She was really had us. So I look forward to seeing her again and see if we've improved. But they're a very solid team, and they're dangerous as they can pitch well. Louisville's had a rough start to their season, but I've seen recently it seems like they've woken up and are scoring some runs and playing better softball, and they're always good competition for us. They are always have good RPI points, and we get to play them twice down there. And again, Iowa State from the Big 12. Big 12's a tough conference, and I don't know much about them, but as always, I'm really focused on our game, and our game needs to be more solid in the circle, pitcher to pitcher, and consistently not just getting on base, but we need to score some runs. We've definitely been saving our runs for the second half of the season, and it's time to spread the wealth.
I hear you. All right, Coach. I'm kind of I hope Ira's taking notes. You taking notes, Ira? You ready to coach our team?
I'm getting ready to coach up the team, absolutely. That's why I'm the captain, and what is a captain coach supposed to do? We do what Coach does. Coach Hutch does. You put your team in the best position to succeed. Well, that's what I'm going to do.
It's important that you say that because I ran into Laura Hoke. I don't know, Coach, if you know this, but she had a message for you and Ira. She told me to tell you that you and our team, we're going to get rolled. So they're laying down the gauntlet on us, Coach.
Now, the number one way to win in this is in fundraising. And last time I checked, she was not on that winning team. They finished behind us in fundraising.
They did. Well, folks, there is still plenty of opportunity for other teams to get involved. msoftballacademy.org. Coach, kind of tell folks. I know you got some news about the honorary chair.
Well, we just we had a video shoot a couple of days ago. Kathleen Beeline has volunteered to be our honorary chair. She's very excited about it and mentioned to me that she doesn't have a glove. So I told her I would make sure she has a glove. She's going to have her own team. And we couldn't be more pleased to have her on board. The Academy, we already have our first full team registered. As you know, we're looking to get teams registered now. They can go online and get it going. But once again, this is not about softball. And winning occurs when we defeat breast cancer. And that is the number one goal. And my team is so committed. They enjoyed this. They got a chance to meet. A few of them were at the video shoot with Kathleen. And, they just were beaming when they were telling her about it. And Lindsay Doyle was recruiting Kathleen to be on her team. She wants to coach Kathleen's team. And the kids are really into it, and it's such a great thing because, we spend all year trying to win softball games and win championships, but I think the greatest lesson these kids learn is when they're involved in something like this, and they meet so many people who have been touched by cancer and are survivors of cancer, and they understand that this is much bigger than our little world. So I'm always very proud of it. I'm excited for it, and, we just need spring to come. Right now I was talking to a recruit last night on the West Coast, and she said their weather was beautiful. I said, well, go outside and blow east. The kids were pretty. I have to say, we've got to really work hard to keep our heads up. We've been outside now since February 7th, and yet we have yet to even see our field. And we got a glimpse of it the other day. We had the snow off the infield, and we're just hopeful that we can get off the ground next week at home, as that is really right now one of our biggest challenges.
I hear you. Well, one more series to go before you hit the home field. Guys, if you want more information on the Michigan Softball Academy right now, msoftballacademy.org. And as Coach said, the competition really is the fundraising competition. And we almost had that. But you know what? Don't let that deter you, because we're all fighting the same battle for the same cause and have a great time doing it. I cannot express enough how much absolute fun it is to be a part of. So msoftballacademy.org. And Coach, I think we are raising the competitive meter in some of the participants here. I can sense. I know Ira's getting a lot of smack talk thrown his way as well. It seems like everywhere I go, I have someone who is going to be a part of it talking some smack to us. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's part of the whole fun. That's part of the whole fun of it. Is I'd like to get the smack talk going. I don't think there's anything that's been better that's happened to this academy than you all getting on board with it and talking smack over the radio every week. So you guys keep it up, because you're certainly doing your part.
All right. Well, Coach, hey, we appreciate you and appreciate your team. Good luck down in Louisville, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
All right. That was Michigan softball coach Carol Hutchins.
Bring it, Laura.
Softball Academy.
Bring it, Laura.
Exactly.
Bring it.
Exactly. We're going to get rolled. Now that we know the rules, we're going to get rolled.
And first things first, you have to out fundraise us to try to roll us.
Well, see, now let's not kick the hornet's nest, Ira. I mean, she does have.
But if we raise a lot of money and we get beat, then it actually is all the right way.
We can't say, hey Brady, hey.
Well, we can't. He just laugh at us.
Exactly. Can't say, hey, kick over a few ends here, a few dollars. We can't do that. 734-998-1050. We got to get to a break. Back on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, the official voice of University of Michigan.